Did you know that Sri Lanka was rated as one of the most beautiful places to visit last year? Why? Absolutely amazing country. My name is Steph, and in this video I'm gonna tell you all about where to stay in Sri Lanka and which area to visit. But let's get into it. The first place I want to mention is Colombo, where probably you want to spend 1 or 2 nights maximum, either at the start or at the end of your trip. It's a big city, and over there you can, for example, visit the Peta shopping area, which is right in the core of the city, or the train station, absolutely a must if you are into photography. Another spot to visit is the Independence Square. Incredible, huge place to visit. There are a few temples areas. Colombo, of course, is a big city, and if you're not into cities, then you have another option, which is Negombo, just 20 minutes north of the airport. It's a small town right at the beach where you can have a very easy and relaxing time. Moving down to the south coast, you're gonna end up in probably the most touristy place of the island, which is Galle, and was built at the end of the 17th century during the Dutch Empire. It's a beautiful old town. It's also called the City of the Artists. In fact, you will find many studios of designers and photographers with more of an international environment. There are plenty of cool cafes and restaurants, just an easy place to have a walk during the day and during the night. But during the day, you may want to visit the beaches nearby, where there is incredible good easy going surfing, and that's a place where you want to go, especially if you are a beginner. Talking of surface, if you are in Sri Lanka between May and September, you may want to visit Arugan Bay, especially if you are into more challenging surfing. And this is a really nice, cool place with lots of backpackers and flash parkers, which has evolved a little bit into the boutique accommodation as well. The vibe is very relaxed, and you will find some challenging waves, as I said, but you can stay also south part of Arugan Bay, where the swells are more gentle, even for beginners. Now let's move out from the coast and we go right in the center of the island, where you can find Kandy. Kandy was an old capital of the Sri Lanka, and in Kandy you will find plenty of temples. It's absolutely gorgeous town actually, especially if you go early August, because this is where you will have the Esala Perahera festival, if I spell it correctly. But what it is that Kandy has the temple of the tooth of Buddha, and they take this tooth out of the temple into the streets. The festival is something unique. I was there a couple of years ago. I absolutely loved it. It lasted the whole night. It's an incredible event, and if you plan to go there in early August, you have to book in advance, sometimes 6 to 12 months in advance. Another area that you should absolutely visit is south of Kandy, where you will find all of the tea plantations. And this is where you can stay in the old British colonial mansion. It's like stepping back into the past. And you can visit also these tea plantation areas, and you can see how they still make the tea today. And you can have a taste of the tea which is incredibly different from what you are used to, at least what I am used to. One suggestion I give you here straight away: don't go in the tea plantation with the flip-flops as I did, because I got plenty of leeches in my feet and it took me 2 hours to get rid of them. To go into the plantation area, take the train that goes from Kandy to Nuwara Eliya. It costs only $2, but it's basically a 4-hour trip where you will have an incredible view of all of the plantations. It's like going into a tea plantation museum, and 4 hours you have a view which is gonna stay with you forever. Plus you're gonna experience also the local life of the people that are going around the area. On the east coast, I suggest you to go to Pasikuda and Kalkudah beach. These are beaches that were very popular in the 70s, but unfortunately due to the civil war, there were no more tourists for a long time. Tourism was back 10 years ago, but then they had the tsunami, so then again no more tourists for a while, and now the pandemic, and again they had a big fall in tourism. The advantage of that is obviously that it's not as popular as other places that you can find in Sri Lanka, and you will be in a bit of a niche spot in Sri Lanka. Absolutely a must visit, with a fantastic beach and really warm water. Oops, a little interruption to this video. I just want to say that this video is sponsored by me, with my trips around Sri Lanka. So if you want to have more information, subscribe to the channel and check out all of the posts I have written over Sri Lanka, and you can see the link down into the video description. But let's go back to where to stay in Sri Lanka. Northeast of Kandy you will find the area of Dambulla and Sigiriya. Why do you want to go there? Well, Sigiriya is a World Heritage Site, which is a fortress on top of a monolith built 1,500 years ago. And you can see when you walk up there how all of the steps were carved into the rock. An incredible job. It's a unique in the world. It's absolutely a must visit in Sri Lanka. Another spot you want to visit in the area is the Sigiriya National Park, where you can have a jeep safari and spot the elephants. You have to book this experience in advance, because only a limited number of jeeps is actually allowed into the park. And when you go into the park, it looks like it's full of jeeps, because there is a huge queue to go into the park. But the park is very wide, and once you are in, actually all of these cars almost disappear, and you will see plenty of elephants going around. Now my suggestion here is to plan your visit either very early in the day or at sunset time, and that's because this is the time where the elephants go down to the lake to have a drink, like in the pub, isn't it? North of Kandy you will find the town of Anuradhapura. This was also an old capital of Sri Lanka. You have to know that Colombo was only the capital of Sri Lanka only in the last 200 years. And before that, actually, the capital moved based on the occupation that unfortunately Sri Lanka had. Anuradhapura is famous for the amount of temples with a really amazing level of conservation and preservation. And you can visit all of these temples renting a motorbike or a bike and riding, for example, your bike for 1, 2 or 3 days around Anuradhapura. It's a little bit like Angkor Wat in Cambodia, if you are familiar with that amazing site, but in much smaller scale, and in 2 to 3 days with a bicycle you can really easily see everything, or in 1 day with a tuk-tuk. The last destination I want to mention in this video is Jaffna, up in the north. And this is an area that was opened again to tourism only in 2014 and connected by train only in the last few years. And what do you find there? You find there more of an unexplored area of Sri Lanka. Over there is more about being an explorer and less of a tourist. In fact, there is no mass tourism at all. It's even difficult sometimes to find a good hotel, if not an hotel at all. In fact, Jaffna, the town itself, doesn't have many hotels, and in that case I really suggest you to book it well in advance if you go there. There are a few locations where you can visit in Jaffna and around Jaffna. You will find also what is left of the oldest library in the world. And this is it for this video about Sri Lanka, where to stay, the best areas to visit. I hope you enjoyed and you put a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel and take that little bell so you get a notification whenever I post a new video on Sri Lanka, a place which I absolutely love. And I see you in the next video soon on my channel. Ciao!